Hey guys, Marsing in here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to be taking a look at the LRGT trio up against Cell Max. So obviously this one of the toughest events in the game, not, you know, an event that you kind of should be measuring other events by. This is something we talk about quite a lot on Twitter when discussing various things with like units and stuff, right? Obviously this event, you can't say like, oh, you know, this unit gets killed by a super attack by Cell Max, therefore they are bad, is kind of the point that I'm trying to make, right? Because 99% of units in the game get killed by a super attack by Cell Max. But these Cell Max showcases is honestly, for me, I think it's just fun to see like how well these units actually do in this event. You know, the devs mentioned in a recent thing that they weren't planning on making this event like the new standard in difficulty, but it doesn't mean that we still couldn't see another event every now and then that is a kind of gimmick like this, right? Because obviously Cell Max, despite being ridiculously high in damage, you can still dodge. There's a bunch of the other, like, you know, I mean, the gimmicks, I guess, if you want to call it that, of how people were beating the event when it first came out. Being able to use like the Ghost Usher abilities of like Pycon and the androids and stuff like that. So it's an interesting event. But anyway, let's see. I guess we have to put you in slot 1 because I feel like it's so early on, right? You're just gonna, Pan's just gonna kill. Although we could just not super with Pan, except we can't do that. Because the thing is, we don't really need, in these early turns, we're only like setting up for the rest of the event essentially, because we don't really need to see what these guys do in the early stages, because the early stages are not particularly difficult. It's quite funny, I was going through with my friend at work last night. Still, he hasn't beaten Cell Max, and we're trying to build a team to put together. And those of you who were there at the stream, when this came out, the day this event came out, I woke up, started streaming. I think because of UK time and when it came out, I think it had been out for like an hour by the time I started. But I hadn't seen anything on it or anything like that. And so we just kind of jumped in on the stream. And I think for those of you who were there, you probably remember, but it took me about 3 hours, I think, to beat the event for the first time. And that's with like, you know, me having both anniversary LRs at 79%. You know, most other units, like, you know, unless they're like newer Dokkan Fests or newer LRs, like most of the units I was bringing on the team are all like Rainbow Link level 10. So it's it's certainly in its own realm when it comes to difficulty. Because yeah, we were trying this out last night with my friend. One of his best teams is basically like a sort of Goku family build with the STR Goku and Gohan. But a lot of his units only have like between 0 and 2 dupes, and I can see, like, from that perspective now, having seen, trying to play it with, like, a slightly weaker account, just how irritating this event can be because of how difficult it is. So the reason of me going off on that random tangent is to say that, you know, this event, super difficult, and I know there's a lot of people out there that still have not beaten it. So it's always interesting for me to do these showcases with the new units, just to see how well they do actually perform in this event, because then obviously anyone who is still yet to beat the event for the first time, you might stumble across one of these showcases and one of these units might actually be super good for this event, and then obviously worth considering putting on your team to actually beat the event for the first time. So now, of course, the biggest issue with the event, because we were using, like I say, the Goku Gohan team, and obviously trying to get the transformation with them into Gohan. The biggest problem is the first 2 phases being so easy that all of your units that need to stack in order to be really good in the final phase don't really get an opportunity to stack. And then, of course, like units like Goku and Gohan, look at that, 10 million attack stat on this turn. Very strong. But yeah, units like Goku Gohan, especially if you have them at like 55%, if you get to the Cell Max, like the tech turn, and that's the turn that you're then going to exchange into Gohan, because he still needs to build up like defense and stuff, the first hit he takes of that turn is, he still takes like 130 to 150k. So obviously still quite a lot of damage. Do I want to float? Yeah, no, I want to keep you guys separate, right? I want to have 2 slot 1 units on Don't want to have 2 slot 1 units on the same rotation. I also don't want to float. Don't want to float Pan, because the other rotation we have the Pan that's with the GT trio. Now, Pan's team, I did do a showcase of Pan versus Cell Max. Pan's team is interesting because Pan herself is such an interesting unit, and I don't think she's necessarily, with the way her design works, cut out for Cell Max, because obviously she gets damage reduction before she attacks, but if I remember, I can't remember if I did the showcase. I think I'd already pulled the 2 dupes for her, or maybe only had 1 at the time. Even in slot 1, before she loses her damage reduction, she'll still take some damage from him. So then, of course, once she's actually gotten her super attack off and lost her damage reduction, then, yeah, you're in for a world of trouble. Especially if, as I've mentioned in previous videos, often seems to be my experience so far with using Pan, is that the number of times I'll go into these harder events and she'll tank a bunch of normal attacks, even if it's like red zone stages and she's tanking the normal attacks in slot 1 for like basically double digits. Then she'll attack, and then immediately afterwards she'll get super attacked. So, it's a little bit unfortunate, but I wonder how we do. There's almost all of the attacks. Look at all of those attacks in slot 1. That's actually crazy. I wonder how much damage the GT trio are actually going to take here, because their start of turn defense is not the best. It's with no support on the rotation, we're probably looking at between 250 and 300k, because they get quite a lot on super attack. How much does Pan take from his super? Yeah, see, double digits. This is what I'm talking about. The first 2 stages, not too difficult. Obviously, physical int units are going to take quite a bit of damage from him. But obviously, Pan in slot 1 here, just soaking up everything before she gets her attacks off. So definitely a very good showing for her on this turn. I think the friend, is the friend Rainbow? I went into the thing and it just auto gave me a Pan friend, so I didn't even stop to see. Let's see what they are. Pan friend is looking like here. Alright, Pan's locked in slot 3. See, the thing is, I need to float off. This is actually like not really like a really bad turn, because ideally I need to float off Pan. Although Pan has 462k defense. The problem is, if the attack that she takes is a super, we are just dead. So I guess we'll have to see how this plays out. But do this, and then we can get the 7 orbs. So she's gonna be over 500k defense with the support from Trunks and Giru. But we'll see if that same thing rings true and she eats the super here. He's still not supered already, so I'm already concerned that he's going to just super Goku here, and then we'll be good. Okay, good. Because we still take damage from this, but, you know. 237k. That was the other thing that was so funny. My friend, like, he's only had a few attempts up until we had a few goes at it last night. And, like, seeing God Goku taking, like, 280k in slot 1 before he supers, my friend was absolutely, like, flabbergasted that he would take that much damage. Between 25 and 15. That's actually not that bad, to be fair, for normals from Pan after her attack. Obviously, heavy support on this rotation. She gets 70% support from Trunks and Giru, so pretty good. So now, what we need to do... Oh, man, if he supers in slot 1... What's their start of turn defense? Yeah, see, their start of turn defense is only 157k on this turn. Were they defense lowered on the previous turn? Not sure. Hers is 411k with the damage reduction in slot 1. I mean, if he doesn't super in slot 1, we actually would be okay. And we do have the revival, so obviously if he does super, it's not the end of the world. It just means we have to go on to the next turn. But because, yeah, we can do this. Do I Senzu Bean here as well, just in case? Because I feel like if Pan gets supered, we die regardless, so it's not even really like it matters necessarily. But because remember, we've only got 150k defense, we get 77% on super, and then obviously we do get the stacking effects from their super, which is 33%. If they get an additional, they obviously get that again. I think because we have the revival up, let me not, because if we just get normal attacked on Pan, we're fine. Because, yeah, slot 1 she'll take double digits. And then we already know from the previous... Well, we don't have as much support as the previous turn. But she should live a normal. Alright, come on. Don't super pan. Okay, Pan's going to triple super. I feel like Pan's team does have good potential for beating this event. It's just the fact that you really do need to... 111. Okay. So 7.2. So we're finally going to get to see what do they take from Texel Max with no support on the rotation. Ooh, 60k from normal attacks. Yikes. For an int unit, that's definitely more than I was expecting. Let's see if we can get the rotation with them and Trunks and Giru as well, which will be next turn. So you're not using the Sensu Bean, I think, was a good idea, because if we Sensu Bean this turn, because we don't revive with full HP from Birdcoo, do we? I think, is it 59% we revive with? So if we use the Sensu Bean this turn, then we should get the rotation we want to see next turn. But then, of course, we're going to be playing the gamble of, is he going to lock somebody in a terrible slot and then just the run be instantly over and have to start again? Okay, so Pan's locked in slot 3, which I actually really don't care about because we're only going to see... We're basically only going to see like one more turn anyway, right? Which is that we want to see the GT trio. Shall I... Yeah, let's not worry about supering with you. And then... Do I need to item here? Because we're going to get the Dokkan attack, which means... Well, to be fair, God Goku, if he gets supered in slot 1, he's still taking like almost 300k damage. So we probably do just have to heal here. Because I do want to see the next turn. And then Pan, what's she looking like? 338k defense. Like, she will potentially take quite a lot of damage. So I'll give her a super. And we're going to get the Dokkan attack with God Goku. He's not going to do like insane damage. But that should hopefully help us out. Because we've used our final Sensu Bean. But as long as we don't get absolutely reamed by a super attack, we should be healing back up to a decent amount on the next turn. Now, bear in mind, obviously, my GT trio, they are 90% instead of Rainbow, but that extra 1 dupe, that extra 10%, that's not going to make, like, a huge amount. Like, that's not going to turn those 60k hits on that previous turn into, like, 30k, right, just by having that extra 10%. So, oh, God, is he going to... Is he going to super Hercule? Hercule needs to dodge. Hercule is on the leader skill, but obviously they... fixed, or I guess nerfed, whatever you want to say, the way... Oh, no, he's going to super attack Pan. Well, rip, I guess. Unless he doesn't super this turn. That has... we have had that happen in some of these runs, but never mind, I guess. God damn it, we were so close. How much did she take from this? Oh, yeah, just 1.7 million. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I finally got the turn that I was trying to get. No Pan, unfortunately, but... We only share 2 links with the Trunks and Giru. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. LR, Trunks, Pan, and Goku. And we share 2 links with Trunks and Giru. But what is solid support giving us at level 10? It is attack 50. Okay, yeah, it's not even a defensive link. You think... I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I guess it's just the name. But, like, solid support sounds like it's a defensive link. Or potentially even, like, support, right? But... Okay, so, obviously we have to rely on Hercule to not die, and then we'll see what we can get here. So, we got 257k defense pre-super. We're about to get the extra 10% buff from the Trunks and Giru passive because we're going to pick up 7 orbs. So, they're going to be just below 300k. So, their defense is going to be, with the super attack effect as well as the raise from their passive, they're going to be over 500k defense when they super. But, oof, Hercule is... There you go, come on, actually start getting some dodges. I mean, the big one is he just needs to dodge a super if a super attack comes, which of course it didn't, so now I have to start again. My favourite. No, he lived! My goat, the champ. Alright, 9.6 million. How much do we take? This is all I want to see. How much do they take with 70% support? Oh wow, they actually take double-digit damage. Okay. So that's interesting. So from what we've seen on the first run, before we actually managed to get this rotation, Pan able to survive as long as she doesn't get supered. So if you are running this build with like her team, then obviously as long as she doesn't eat the super in slot 1, that support from Trunks and Giru actually puts them like at a position where they can take those attacks from there. That's actually quite a crazy difference. Actually, let's put the skip on and just use Goku's active skill. I don't think we can win this one, but you never know. So yeah, that does actually make a very significant difference. The fact that they actually took double-digit damage after that previous turn where we saw them taking 60k without support, that is actually... I wasn't expecting it to be that big of a jump, especially when they only had 2 links active as well. Because the turn that we saw them with no support, they did have a few more links active because they were linked up with Pan, right? So that does make a pretty significant difference. So they could be useful for this. It's just the problem, like I said, with Pan's team, because you have Bond of Friendship, you have a lot of Gokus. So you do have the backbone to make a very strong team without necessarily having to bring a bunch of the units that link up super well with Pan or make Pan like at her best. And as we saw from that previous like clip, she can take some hits if she has to. It's just the fact that like the build, her and the GT trio themselves, like, they're not really going to be standing up to eating super attacks. Oh, of course, and I don't have another item. So I mean, I guess I can do this. We'll see if we live the turn, but this is going to be them without support again. And of course, if we do eat a super, then it's GG. But we'll see what happens. If we die here, we die. I saw the turn I wanted to see, which is them with Trunks and Giru. And all the attacks not to dodge. Alright, Hercule. 373k. Okay, that's wonderful. Hopefully that means he isn't going to super attack Pan. But she has no support. The friend is 90%. So I don't know how much damage she's going to take. I think she will survive. But let's see. Because I'm not sure if her passive is fully built up at this point as well. It should be by now, right? Turn 9. Oh, well. Okay, well, there you go. So GT Trio, another unit that, despite having type advantage, not really the best. Pan's team, I think just because of Pan's design, she herself is a bit of a liability. I mean, Trunks and Giru themselves, the actual support, they're not great at taking hits either. So, interesting to see that they did actually take double-digit damage with that support, though. There's not many units in the game, even that, like, after supering can take double-digit damage from him. So, that is interesting to see. But let me know what you guys think down below. Have you beaten the event with Pan's team or with them on the team? What are your thoughts? Be interesting to see how, with the new level of power creep, how this event becomes in the future, right? Because we've got the Gammas coming out on both versions very soon. And I did see, I think it was a Truth tweeted out saying that he basically no-itemed Cell Max on the first try with Kid Goku, the new one on JP, because he's just so powerful, because power creep just keeps chugging along. So, obviously, being that they are the Gammas, you know, it's going to be very cool to see how good they are in this event. It would be a bit disappointing if they were really bad for it, because one of them might be AGL even, you never know. So, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So, that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been The Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.